Okay, so in today's video we're going to have a look at part 3 of the Reading and Use of English section of the Cambridge Certificate of Proficiency in English exam, the C2 level exam. And we've seen videos like this before. Part 3 is called Word Formation. What is in part 3? It says, a text containing 8 gaps. Each gap corresponds to a word. The stems of the missing words are given beside the text and must be changed to form the missing word. So they give you the stem of the word, right? And you have to change it with suffixes, prefixes, changing it from, say, a noun to a verb or an adjective or an adverb. Different parts of speech. No. What do I have to practice? Well, vocabulary, in particular the use of affixation, internal changes and compounding in word formation. So basically, yeah, just what I just said. You have to manipulate the word in some way so that it fits into the sentence grammatically correctly. How many questions are there? There are 8 questions, as mentioned, 8 gaps. How many marks are there? 1 mark per correct answer. So, yeah, I guess let's get into it and let's have a look at the text. It's about crying today and, well, its function. What is the function of crying? And it's something I've often wondered about.
What's wrong with your eyes?
So we've got the example here. The first one is 0, the example. Crying. Charles Darwin thought that the human tendency to cry had no obvious evolved purpose. Right. So what kind of a word do we want there? Evolve is obviously a verb. And what kind of a word do we want there? Well, it had no obvious purpose. Makes sense. So I think we want to see what kind of purpose. It's obviously an adjective to describe what kind of purpose. It had no obvious evolutionary purpose, I think would be the correct answer there. Yes, Charles Darwin famously thought crying tears came from God. No, he didn't think that. He thought it was Jesus crying through your eyes. Anyway, I don't think he knew why we cried. And to be honest, it's not very obvious, is it? Why do we cry? It's a very strange thing that we do. He was almost certainly wrong that it had no evolutionary purpose. Everything has a purpose. More recently, scientists have pointed to its social sign, with psychiatrist John Bowlby highlighting the role of crying in developing the attach between mother and child. So it's pointed to its social is an adjective. I think what we want here is a noun. Sign can be changed into the word significance. No, its meaning, its social meaning, what it means to people, its social significance. And John Bowlby highlighted the role of crying in developing again, we want a noun. No, the bond is another word we could use here, a bond between mother and child. Psychiatrists, psychologists often call it the attachment between mother and child. Obviously, you see attachments a lot in IT when you're sending an email, basically. No, you add an attachment, you attach a document. There you go. There's some interesting. I'm adding value to this exercise. Again, many believe that tears, at least during childhood, are mainly an expression of help. This is pretty difficult. So they're mainly an expression of what? Of help. That is a noun, and I think we want a noun here, but I don't think they're an expression of help. Maybe an expression of needing help. What do we say when something is can't defend itself? It is defenseless. it is helpless. But helpless is an adjective. We could say a child cries when it is feeling helpless to show that it is helpless. But what is the noun? Mainly an expression of helplessness. Helplessness, I think, is the word we would use there. Many believe that tears, at least during childhood, are mainly an expression of helplessness, an inability to help oneself. However, the persistence of crying into adulthood is harder to explain. Why do we continue to cry as adults? It seems that the sound of crying becomes considerably less important than the visual signal it conveys. Yeah, so we find we find the sound less important than what it, than what someone looks like when they're crying. Yeah, well, possibly. Yeah. It may have been advantage to early human communities as a means of promoting trust and social connectedness. So it may have been an advantage, you could say. But I think we're describing how it could have been. So it's an adjective. No, it could have been adjective to early human communities. So it could have been beneficial. It could have been advantageous to early human communities as a means of promoting trust and social connectedness. Yeah, I guess I've always sort of thought, in my years of research, I've always thought that it kind of shows how much stress you're under. It's kind of a way of knowing that somebody's genuinely in distress, no? Though there are people who can fake crying. Actors can cry. But I think even then they're probably suffering some kind of extreme stress because they're thinking about something extremely stressful. And it shows to me that you're sort of losing control. It's like an obvious way of showing that, because you can tremble, I suppose. What else can you do, really? I guess it's a really obvious visual signal. Our eyes are very important, obviously. Humans are obsessed with the pupil. Like, we can see from the back of a room if someone's looking at our nose or our chin. It's unbelievable. So the eyes are very important, and obviously, I guess, when you cry, your eyes get glazed over and they look bigger. It makes you look more like a child. I guess it makes you look more helpless. It magnifies that sensation of helplessness. So, yeah, I guess you would trust someone more when you see them crying than if they just say they're upset, no? It's obvious that they are being genuine, I suppose. So that thing of trust and social connectedness, that makes sense to me as a clinical psychologist. Tears can undoubtedly have other causes too. We may cry to express sympathy for those suffering terrible suffering some terrible, it's going to be something, I guess a noun, no? Question is here, I think the noun here could be uncountable or plural. We may cry to express sympathy for those suffering terrible unfairness, terrible injustice, or injustices. I think it can be countable or uncountable. Yep. So injustice or injustices. I think both would be acceptable there. Furthermore, tears can be shed voluntary. They can be shared. Well, we want an adverb. So I guess like unwillingly or without intention, unintentionally. I think what we would say is voluntarily, involuntarily. No, involuntarily. Is that right? Can be shed involuntarily. Yeah, without meaning to. Rather to our embarrassment when we hear inspiring music or moving speeches. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that definitely happens. We may cry when watching a sentimental film. Oh God, yeah, as good as it gets the other day. But I was on my own, so it didn't matter. No, if there's anyone there, I just like start looking at my phone or something. Pretend. Pretend that I have no feelings. Because, you know, I'm a man. I can't cry in front of people. Anyway, we may cry when watching a sentimental film, but interestingly, this is more likely to occur in company than when we are alone. No, it doesn't happen in company. Yeah. I don't let it happen in company. But apparently, yeah, I guess it's more... I've often thought this about like watching comedies and things. I'll laugh when I'm with people if I see something funny on the telly. And then when I'm alone, I don't really laugh at the telly, even though I think something's very funny. Very rarely do I laugh out loud. On occasion. Maybe watching Dave Chappelle. He makes me laugh out loud. One of the few people on earth. Yeah. The social function of crying would seem to be deny. But research continues. The social function would seem to be... I think we need an adjective, no? Would seem to be... so we could say irrefutable. That would be another way to say it. No, you can't dispute it. Undisputable. Yeah. So I think what we would say here is undeniable. You can't deny it. It's undeniable. Its social function is undeniable, but research continues. So we know it has a social function. It's very clear. And we know how we react to tears, how we react to crying. But we're not 100% sure why it is that we do. Why do we cry?
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
Yeah. But I will continue my research. Okay. Well, we've finished for today. Maybe you're going to see an advert when this video finishes because I've been monetized. It only took 2.5 years of my life. I'm this much closer to quitting my day job and becoming a full-time YouTuber. But yeah, thanks for everyone who's watching the videos. You've helped me a lot. And yeah, great. Let's continue. I will continue to make English videos. Okay, goodbye.